If you've ever been robbed, then you'll know that it's a traumatic experience to go through. Apart from the immediate trauma of going through the experience, there's also the post-traumatic stress that you go through every time you hear a sound or a noise. I have been robbed, not once, not twice, not thrice, but a whopping 7 times. The first time was in a build-up to our wedding. Just about 2 weeks before the wedding, I was driving home from work and our AC wasn't working. So I had the window slightly down. I had taken off my gold earrings, but I didn't take off the necklace. It was kind of covered, so I didn't think anything of it. And next thing, this guy appears at my window and he tells me he has a gun and he asked me if he should show it to me. To be honest, I almost called his bluff. But then wisdom took over and I thought better of it. Even if he didn't have a gun, he had this wooden umbrella, and I just thought that if he took it and hit me with it, it wouldn't make sense that I was trying to protect stuff rather than just give him what he wanted. So I told him there was no need to show me the gun. He asked for money. I told him I had no money. And then he told me to take off the chain. So I took it off and gave it to him. That happened. The second experience happened about 6 years later. I had a business that I used to run from the house. And this happened about 9-ish at night. There was no light and the gen was on. And next thing, the lights in the house went off, but the gen was still working. And this happens sometimes because the vibrations of the gen could make the plug come out of the socket. And so my husband went out to check what was happening. So he had to come back inside to take a torch to see how he could fix it. And as he was coming back inside, I saw these 2 guys with masks. I was looking at them. I felt like I was in a movie. I thought he knew. I thought they were with him. You know, I was just watching and they were following him. And next thing, they prodded him. They came with 2 long guns and they prodded him with the gun and they were like, lie down, lie down. And so he went down. I was just staring. I was frozen on my seat. I felt like it was an out-of-body experience. And then they shouted, lie down. So that jarred me. I laid down. They took our laptops. They took money. They took his phone. I was just happy that they didn't harm my 1-year-old son who was with me at the time. That happened. Eventually, we did recover those items because we were able to find the people who did it, and we recovered most of the things except the money. Anyway, that was the second experience. The third experience was a few years later. I think about a couple of years later, I went to the market to shop for a client who placed an order for jewelry at the time. And so I got to the market and then I had this Nokia N97. I don't know if any of you remembers that top of the range Nokia. Anyway, I had it in my bag, and somehow in the market, at some point, I found out that my phone had been stolen. Worse still, the client never paid me for that job. That was the third incident. The fourth and fifth incidents happened in quick successions in our house outside Lagos. It was in Osogbo at the time, and they happened around midday, in broad daylight. I went out briefly, less than an hour, and I came back and I met the house wide open, and they had broken the burglary proof. They had climbed the gate, broken the burglary proof, entered the bedroom, taken our laptops, taken my camera, taken whatever valuables they could find at the time. On another day, in the following week, about the same time of day, I went out again and I came back and I met our TV by the gate. All the keys in the house they had strewn apart. This time they couldn't get anything out. We had beefed up security. We had fixed more burglary. We had chained the locks to the house. So they tried to take the gas cylinder. They tried to take the TV. They tried to take all those things, but they couldn't because we had locked up. And so we found the TV by the door. They had taken the remote controls. They had taken the charging cords of the laptops that they stole the previous week. Luckily, they couldn't really get away with much this time. And so that was the fourth and the fifth event. The next time it happened, I was in Lagos again, and we spent New Year in our family house. And we woke up in the morning and somebody had come into the room, had broken into the house, and come to the bedroom where we were sleeping and taken our phones, taken our tablets, taken our laptops. Give me a break, for heaven's sake. So that happened. We never recovered those items. And then the last one happened just last year in December of 2022. We're asleep in our home in Ibadan, and next thing we started hearing shouts at night of our neighbors shouting thief, 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 and we have serious burglary doors. How they broke it, I don't understand. They took something heavy and kept hitting and hitting and hitting until the doors broke open. They came upstairs to our bedroom. They took our phones. There was no money, but they took our phones. They took our laptops. They took my digital SLR camera, iPads. They took everything. Even the little phone, what you'd call a Tonosobe phone, they took it. So we're just left like that in the middle of the night. The door was spoiled. We couldn't do anything around 2 a.m. I think that's been the most traumatic of all the incidents, because sometimes I still hear that banging going on at night. I've been robbed a whooping 7 times. That's not a fun story. But here I am. I'm still standing by the grace of God. The devil meant it for bad, but here I am, still standing. So have you ever been robbed? I'd like to hear your story in the comment section. Or what would you do if it were you? Not once, not twice, not thrice, 7 times. That's enough for a lifetime. I say no more. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification button so you'll never miss when I post one of my other interesting videos.